Welcome back and thank you for staying with Katie and Pram. Now, in the heart of Maasai culture, age-old traditions continue to dictate the roles of men and women, even in moments of profound grief. For many widows, the death of a husband marks the beginning of emotional battles rooted in cultural expectations, rejection, and stigma. Now, family disputes and social pressure often leave them isolated and vulnerable. But one woman is rewriting the story. Our reporter Catherine Nimuraget brings us the inspiring journey of a widow who, after enduring emotional torment, is rising above societal judgment to become a voice of hope and change for others walking the same path. Take a look.
Winnie, not her real name, is a mother of two. She never imagined at any given time that her marriage would one day turn into a source of misery for her and her little ones. She lost her husband to cancer after a prolonged illness, and from that moment everything began to fall apart. Having experienced firsthand the struggles that widowed women like her endure, she is determined to change the narrative. For her safety and to freely share her story, she has asked us to conceal her identity.
Sasa mambo yakakuja kuzidi wakati wa mwisho wa hali zake. Wakati ambapo sasa ilibidi ni kuuza mali ya familia ili kudhibiti hali yake. Tukaja tukampoteza na akapumzika kwa amani. Wazee wakaja, kina mama zaidi ya watu 200. Wakapanga wakasema yule mke wake wa kwanza akaelekezewa mtu tofauti. Mimi nikapewa ndugu yake wa tumbo moja.
After burying her husband, she found herself starting a new chapter, laden with unexpected battles, but a chapter that will also test her resilience. The conflict escalated to the point where she began receiving threatening messages on social media. Shockingly, not from strangers, but from the very family she had married into.
Sasa mambo yakabadilika yakawa ya kotini. Nikaanza sasa kuwa na mawazo, kila wakati ni mawazo. Nilikuwa na msichana wa kazi. Hakuna siku niliaikuwa mama katika nyumba ile. Hata sijui chakula ni gani ilikuwa ipikwa ama haijapikwa ama walikula ama wakula. Wakati wangu mwingi ninaenda kweli shuleni, natoka mapema, napitia klabu na kunywa. Nikifika kwa nyumba najifungia kwenye room yangu, nalala. Watoto wangu walikuwa nalelewa na yule house girl. Hakuna siku mimi niliwahi onea hata wakifanya homework ama nini, hakuna.
As the Swahili saying goes, akufukuzai hakwambi toka. Despite standing with her husband until his last breath, she was turned away and even called a murderer. If she had known earlier, maybe she would have given up fighting for her belongings in this family.
Tumefunga shule. Watoto wanakuuliza, "Mam, mbona tuendi nyumbani?" Utawaelekeza vipi? Kwanza mdogo anasema mbona dadi harudi? So, bado wewe hujajua vile utamueleza, hata ukimwambia alikufa ama alifariki, hata hajui hiyo nini kufanya nini. Mkubwa anajua kweli aliwekewa mchanga, lakini sasa si alitoka tu.
Her battles came with hard consequences. Bogged by what was happening at that time, she started taking alcohol without knowing that she was slowly drifting into depression. Winnie became addicted. Issues with children also continued to worsen her anger. At this moment, she needed a way to vent out. She directed it at her children and colleagues at work.
So what is the day today?
Thanks to friends in the Kakenya Health and Wellness Center, a local support center in her neighborhood, she started getting some support. Her story mirrors that of another woman we met at a clinic during a follow-up checkup. With deep pain, she recounts how her husband's mistreatment has pushed her into depression. Now, fearing for her safety due to his threats, she is seeking asylum.
Nilitishiwa maisha kama mwezi 7. Sasa vile nimesikia nimegonjeka kabisa, wakati nimekuja hapa nikatibiwa siku 2, kurudi nyumbani ndio karibu aniue kabisa.
A research by World Health Organization shows that globally about 1 in 3, that is 30% of women worldwide, have been subjected to either physical and or sexual intimate partner violence or non-partner sexual violence in their lifetime. Globally, as many as 38 of all murders of women are committed by intimate partners. In addition to intimate partners violence, globally 6% of women report having been sexually assaulted by someone other than a partner. Violence can negatively affect women's physical, mental, sexual, and reproductive health, and may increase the risk of acquiring HIV in some settings. A high percentage of women continue to suffer in silence. The local doctor here admits to receiving many patients who are complaining of being inherited after their husband dies.
Most of the cases that I see with the numbers that are higher in anxiety and depression and GBV, gender-based violence, that have been on the rise. There's also issues with alcohol, substance use disorder, but we're still looking for the clients because we're still having challenges.
Lower levels of education, a history of exposure to child maltreatment, witnessing family violence, antisocial personality disorder, harmful use of alcohol, harmful masculine behaviors, community norms that privilege or ascribe higher status to men and lower status to women, lower levels of women's access to paid employment, and low levels of gender equality are just but a few risk factors for both intimate partners and sexual violence.
So we have triggers, and most of the triggers are at home. You'd come for therapy, we'd do interventions, I'll help you manage your issues, but then you go back to the triggers. So, and again, you relapse to the same emotions and thoughts that you had.
But how does one know that they are gradually falling into depression or suffering from mental health?
There are different types of mental health. For example, depression, the first sign of it is prolonged sadness. You isolate yourself from your friends, your families. It affects your sleeping patterns. It affects your appetite. You have a low appetite. For some, they start having ideations of suicide or they have attempted suicide. For others, it's genetic. If you have a family member who maybe has been screened for the disorder, you might be more likely to have it. Some, they are caused by chronic medical conditions. People with diabetes, people with cancer, they might start developing mental disorders due to the medical condition. Alcohol, it affects your mental condition in that it impairs your social functioning, it impairs your judgment. So you have no insight and your thought of your reality is absent. So your orientation towards life is you're not aware of it.
Matile, a community elder, urges the community and fellow elders to abandon outdated traditions and prioritize education. He admits the community has been practicing this for ages and is largely contributed by lack of education.
Karibu kila mtu yuko nyumba ya mabati, kanisa yuko karibu, shule yuko karibu. Alabu kitu nataka kuongeza sana, asomeshe mfulana na msijana maana.
To eradicate these rebate, Moses says the society is trying to equally empower both girls and boys now.
We must hunt or to be more broad. And that is the reason why we used to bring men's in the community, they should to finish the FGM. So that in Poroko we used to, recently we have at Poroko, and actually what we are talking about the gender-based violence. So that a boy child also to know.
Today, as Winnie battles her struggles, she firmly believes that speaking out can make a difference and change the fate of others. Every day, She wakes up determined to lead this change, ensuring that culture and tradition do not strip women in her community of their dignity. Catherine Imuragit, KTN, Kilgoris, Narok County.